I'm going Eagles, Molly, and it's hard because this thing is really like I think the 4 teams at the top of the NFC is obviously San Francisco, Detroit, Green Bay, and Philly. But I think the addition of Saquon Barkley, look, this Eagles team last year was about their mentality. They were shot mentally. This was not about ability or if they had the guy. We know A.J. Brown is an elite wide receiver. We know he's one of the top guys when it's going. We know that Devontae Smith, the young wide receiver, is one of the best two complementary guys, could be a one on a lot of other organizations. You look at the addition of Saquon Barkley that they bring in. Get back to what made Philly 2 years ago, and I think this team becomes the biggest threat because the talent is littered all over the field as well. I get the excitement of Jordan Love. I think Detroit is a team that's built to last. But the Philadelphia Eagles, to me, now there's one caveat. Jason Kelce will be sitting on Monday Night Countdown with me, which I think is huge. Obviously, we know he's a future Hall of Famer, center. That's a big time thing you got to replace. But I believe that this team last year, mentality-wise, something was missing. And if you want to make the case that they shouldn't be because of that, I understand it 100% based on how the season ended for them. But if they get that part right, mixed with Vic Fangio coming in and Kellen Moore calling offense, having more continuity, more of an identity, I think Philly is the biggest threat.
Well, see, you hit it on the end.
Go ahead, Shannon.
So you tell me, so what that defense going to do? Because Fletcher Cox retired. So who they going to stop? Mm-hmm. You remember last year how bad that defense was? And we kept talking about it, Swagoo. Yep. And I kept telling Eagles fans when they got off to this great start, I say never accept anything in a win you wouldn't in a loss. You were winning these games, but your check engine light was on. And you wouldn't get it fixed until it put you downside the road. And then all of a sudden you lose 4 straight, you go into the playoffs, you get bounced, and boom, here we go. The thing is, look, Jalen Hurts is going to have to get back. He turned the ball over far too many times last year, and maybe he was hurt. But you can't go out there and use hurt as an excuse. Either sit down or you have to play better. You know how this thing goes, Swagoo. We both played for an extended period of time. And if you hurt and you go out there on the field, all they saw was 84 and 96 on your back, and they expected you to make plays as if you were 100% healthy. And so that is my concern. I love the skill position players. The offensive line is still going to be solid. You do lose a key cog in the middle of that offense with Kelce moving on. But they still got Mailata, you got Landon Dixon, you got Lane Johnson. So you got pieces, and you brought in Saquon. But my question is defensively, because where was Fangio last year? Was he in Miami? Where was he at last year?
Yep.
Yes, he was.
Miami.
How they look defensively? How did they look defensively, Swagoo?
Not
Shannon,
great.
Don't do that. They lost a lot of guys to injury now. Don't. Vic Fangio been really good calling defense in his career, man.
Stephen A, before you go, Stephen A, let me add this point before you go. Sure. When they dropped 70 on the Broncos, and then the following week they went to Buffalo. With everybody healthy, Vic Fangio calling that defense, hey, Swagoo, for the people at home that didn't have cable at the time, what did Buffalo do to Fangio's defense?
They mauled them. but
Stephen A, take off.
Come on, man. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Stephen A. I got to go back at Shannon for that, bro, because he know he dead.
Well, he's not dead wrong about that because Buffalo did stomp them the week after they dropped 7 on Denver. That is true, okay? That is true. That happened. But far be it for me and my non-football self to bring this point up, but I just think it's apropos. There is such a thing, correct me if I'm wrong, of a potent offense making up to some degree for a porous defense. When you look at the Philadelphia Eagles right now, okay, think about this right here. Even though Jason Kelce is gone, all right, and Pro Football Focus had them ranked as the top offensive line in football over the last 2 years, they've only dipped 1 spot to number 2 at this particular moment in time. They're still expected to have an elite offensive line. So we anticipate that Jalen Hurts is going to be protected. You still got A.J. Brown, Mr. New $32 million a year man. You got Devontae Smith. Mm-hmm. You got Goddard as well, okay? and then you picked up Saquon Barkley. And so you got a safety net to dip the ball to when you in trouble, as opposed to needing to play hero ball. You're going to move the chains. You're going to sit up there, chalk up yardage, if not points. Oh, by the way, they acquired an offensive coordinator who was formerly in Los Angeles with the Chargers, who was in where the year before that? Dallas, okay? That division, who had one of the top 2 most potent offenses in all of football. What was his problem? They tried to act like, oh, damn, he's scoring too much. He's not giving the defense a reprieve. When we found out what the real issue was, that Mike McCarthy wanted to call the damn plays himself because he's thinking about his own job security and making sure that he buffers his stature and his cachet to make sure he's gainfully employed for years to come. And by the way, for the audience that wants to look at me and think that I'm being a cynic about Mike McCarthy, I'm not hating on him by any stretch of the imagination. But it is notable to point out he did lie to get the job. He joked about saying whatever he thought Jerry Jones wanted to hear to get the head coaching job in Dallas to begin with. So who's to say that should be beyond him to say what the hell needs to be said so he could get offensive play calling responsibilities away from a dude that was in line to be his successor in the event that he messed up and didn't win? Okay, so all of a sudden, Kellen Moore's up out of there. And he there calling plays and doing the same damn thing he was complaining about Kellen Moore doing when Kellen Moore was running the offense, which was throwing the damn football too much. That's exactly what Mike McCarthy doing. That's why Swagoo got that smile on his face, because he know I'm telling the truth.
He can't help
I'm telling the truth. So now we got...
cannot help himself.
And so now we got this. We got Kellen Moore, we got Saquon Barkley added to a talented squad. And oh, by the way, we know Sirianni no longer has the excuse of losing both coordinators and really not being prepared for a season. He got that going on. I'm saying the combination of all of that, along with the fact that we're just a season ago removed from the Philadelphia Eagles nearly winning the Super Bowl championship. Yeah.